The Joe Rogan Experience.
Good point. With all this martial arts skill, like what?
Fedor?
Yeah, but Fedor's big. Fedor might have like a gut, but he's a thick motherfucker.
Okay.
Especially
what about,
the young Fedor. You ever see young Fedor when he was in his prime? Like back when he fought like Fujita. Like back when there's a picture of Fedor standing around with a bunch of kettlebells. You ever see that picture?
Nope.
That was Fedor in his lifting days. I suspect, and this is coming from that's one when Fedor was fairly young up there. But that's not the one I'm talking about. You know that one with the kettlebells? Yeah. Is that picture up? See if you find that picture.
Never a six-pack in sight.
No six-pack. But I suspect that Fedor might have been on some performance-enhancing substances during his prime.
You mean like hard training, lots of drilling, technique, sort of strategy?
Steroids.
Oh, how dare you, sir.
Dude, he was in Pride. Everybody was on steroids. Yeah, that's him. Look at him. That's him in his prime. That's a big motherfucker. Now, I do not know if he was on anything, but everybody else was. I mean, literally everybody. They had it in their contract that we will not test for steroids. You know, Ensign Inoue told me that they like essentially encouraged people to take steroids.
Yeah, the Pride days. That's right.
Yeah,
but
and it's not like Russians don't have a long history of using performance-enhancing substances. I'm sure you saw that movie, Icarus.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yep.
Fascinating, right?
It's fascinating. I mean, I don't. Steroids often feel to me like a bit of a witch hunt. Oftentimes, you assume people are on steroids. I'm a bit of maybe I'm naive or an optimist, but I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. But Icarus obviously proves that
Icarus kind of throws a monkey wrench of those gears.
But you know, with Fedor, the technique on that, the technique, the execution, the timing, the brilliance of his movement,
no doubt,
the heart.
No, he was phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's one of, if not the greatest heavyweight of all time, he's certainly one of them.
And I don't think steroids would help that guy.
Yes, they do. They help.
Okay.
Yeah, they help
that guy in particular.
Yeah, they help everything. They help your training. They help your ability to recover. They help your explosive power. They help your speed. They help everything. But they also, it's not just steroids. Like a lot of them are on EPO. EPO radically enhances your endurance. And they're starting to catch people. They just stripped TJ Dillashaw, UFC bantamweight champion, for EPO rather.
It's tragic.
Yes, it is tragic, especially TJ. I mean, he's just a phenomenal fighter. If not, I mean, certainly top 10 pound for pound. And then this is one of those things that comes up and you go, oh, man, it's a legacy killer.
Yeah, in this world, we have to kind of reconsider what kind of what should be allowed and not.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that.
There is an idea where you should make steroids legal, right? Or not legal, sorry, allowed, or some kind of supplementation. Like, well, where's the line when you start to talk about the future of martial arts, the future of sport? If you can control the levels so that they're healthy, I mean, isn't that the reason that they're not allowed? Is because if abused, they become unhealthy. They damage long-term well-being of the person.
Look, if that was the case, we wouldn't allow fighting. Because fighting is more damaging than steroids, for sure. For sure. Getting punched and kicked and fucking kneed in the face and elbowed into unconsciousness, that is way worse for you than steroids. The concern is not for the athlete. The concern is for the opponent. The idea is that you will be able to inflict punishment that you would not ordinarily be able to inflict. You will have more endurance. You will have more power. You will hurt someone, potentially even... Look, there's going to be a time where someone dies in a mixed martial arts event. And if that someone who was the victor, who did not die, was on steroids, it is going to be a huge national tragedy and a massive disaster for the sport, for everything, if that ever does happen. We can only hope it never does. But
for sure,
you know, it's a very, very dangerous game you're playing. And when you are... Martial arts is a very dangerous game. And when you are enhancing your body with chemicals that are illegal while you're doing that game, the real question is, though, here's my take on it. And it's one of the most human subjects, and meaning that it's messy. humans are messy. Like, there's good and there's bad.
Yeah.
You know, look, like abortion is a messy subject. It's messy. You know, whether you agree with someone's right to have it or not, it is what you're doing is, especially as the fetus gets older, it's messy. You know, when it's a complicated discussion, it's not like you should drink water. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a very complicated discussion. Steroids are a very complicated discussion. You're not allowed to do them, but they exist for a reason. The reason why they exist is they're really effective. They're really effective at enhancing your body. But how much of that will we allow? We allow creatine. We allow supplements in terms of, you know, there's certain things that can slightly elevate your testosterone, slightly elevate your growth hormone. We allow sauna and ice baths and all these things that have shown to enhance recovery. But that's too much. It's too good. They're too effective. But it's weird. It's weird that this thing that we found that makes you better, you can't use.
Yeah, and so I have to go back a little bit and disagree with you on something. So
What?
in terms of fighting being dangerous, and that's if we wanted to forbid things that are dangerous for you, would forbid fighting. I think the main thing you're doing can be dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
The main thing that we're talking about, the sport, the combat event, that can be dangerous because that is what we watch. Two people at the height of their skill, ability, heart, passion, putting their life at risk. That can be dangerous. But the supplementation around it, the way to make it, to make their training better, more effective, that can't be dangerous. And I thought
That can't be dangerous?
can't be dangerous. So I thought steroids were sort of banned because abuses lead to long-term damage to health. Now we see steroids as cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But it was banned initially because it has detrimental effects to
I
your
don't
health.
think that's true.
It's not?
No, because there's no real evidence that it's detrimental. It's not as detrimental as alcohol when
when
you allow
abused.
people to drink. But even when abused, where are the bodies? Like there's not a lot of like. There's a great documentary on it called Bigger, Stronger, Faster,
Mm-hmm.
and it's by my friend Chris Bell. And when you watch that documentary and you realize like, oh well, the real negative consequences of taking steroids are that it shuts down your endocrine system. Mm-hmm. So it stops your body's natural production of testosterone and growth hormone and hormones. That's the real problem. And for young people, that can be very devastating. And it can lead to depression and suicidal thoughts and all sorts of really bad things when your testosterone shuts down. But as far as like death, boy, I mean, people are prescribed pain pills every day of the week, and fighters that are on injuries that have been, that have gotten surgery, they're prescribed pain pills every day of the week, and those pain pills kill people left and right. And that's just a fact. People die of those things all the time, much more so than die of steroids. So I'm not advocating for the use of steroids.
Right.
I'm being pretty objective and neutral about this, but I'm just looking at it like it's a very messy subject.
Yeah, it's very eloquently put. But so your problem in terms of damaging the opponent is if one side takes steroids and the other doesn't.
Exactly.
What happens if both?
The problem is you would
steroids?
require someone to do that. Maybe someone's a holistic person. They don't want to introduce any unnatural exogenous steroids into their body and hormones into their body. They want everything to be produced by the human body. They want to eat healthy food,
Yep.
train hard, sleep well, and compete naturally.
Yeah, you had C.T. Fletcher here yesterday, right?
Yes.
He's a natural bodybuilder.
Yes.
Or not bodybuilder.
Powerlifter.
Powerlifter, yeah.
Yeah. And
But that's not required, right? You're not requiring people. You're giving them the choice. So, it's an interesting possibility where in moderation you'll be able to allow steroids in future of athletics. Because with an argument that if done in moderation, you can actually create healthier athletes.
Yeah, that's a real argument for the Tour de France. The Tour de France, they say that you actually are better off and healthier taking steroids
Yeah.
and EPO than you are doing it without it because it's so unbelievably
torture.
grueling on the body.
Yeah. I mean, those athletes are basically some of the best people in the world at suffering.
Yeah.
Long-term suffering. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Ultramarathon runners, all those guys. It's incredible.
It's a different sort of thing, and the thing about ultramarathon runners is they don't even test them. because they're like, good luck. Those people have iron wills. Like I don't know if like Courtney DeWalter is a woman who who she is.
Yeah.
No, she's been in here. She eats candy. She drinks beer, eats candy and pizza.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, she's just got a fucking iron will. Yeah. Her will is indomitable, and you could take all the steroids you want. When you're running for 3 days, that chick is gonna beat you.
She just doesn't know how to quit. Like, just has no quit in her.
Did you see the podcast with her where she talked about how she fell? She couldn't see. She was experiencing, I think it was interocular hemorrhaging. Yeah. So her eyeballs were bleeding internally, something like that, where it was impeding her vision. She couldn't see. I would stop running. Yeah. No, she fell because she couldn't see, busted her head open, bleeding all down her face, keeps running. Barely can see her feet as she's running, keeps running.
I'm glad those people are out there.